without further ado, I'd like to introduce former Mayor, Congressman, Mr. Tom. Thank you, Jason.
Last Tuesday was a milestone. The voters of Ohio and voters of this country said no more nonsense. And the governor-elect said the train is dead. Nobody wants it, so we're not going to put any more money in it. And for the same reason, the streetcar is dead, because nobody wants it, and the people at City Hall are going to find out that they don't want it either. Because the next election is City Council election. So far they've been getting by without answering any questions. They've said we're going to have a streetcar, but there's never been a hearing on it. There's never been a vote on it. Never been a vote. Other cities where they have a streetcar, they've got a vote. Where is the mayor today? I ask you. He's over in China, and he says he's going to borrow money from the Chinese for the streetcar. Does anybody believe that?
No.
Or is he just sulking because he and his brother got beat, and everybody on Tuesday, that's the important thing. Everybody last Tuesday who was for the streetcar got beat. And now it's up to the city of Cincinnati. If they're going to put it in, they're going to take it out of the city budget. And that does mean taking it out, brownouts. It means policemen laid off. It means health issues delayed. How can we possibly think of financing a $400 million, $500 million, and that's what it's going to cost, streetcar out of petty cash in City Hall? It isn't going to work, and they know it's not going to work. And now the mayor took off. He's not facing the music, and we're going to be at City Council every day. I've been there sometimes already. And I'm going to be there every day until this gets voted down. Every candidate for City Council is going to be faced with a question. Are you going to vote for money for this boondoggle? If they are, we're going to be out there campaigning against them all the time and advertising, and they're no longer going to get by with this secret agenda that they've had. They've spent millions already, and they won't tell us how much. But we're working on that. I want to thank you for being here. It's not going to be very long, but the city of Cincinnati, those folks down there who are ducking, those folks are going to find out about it, and the streetcar will be finally dead.
Thank you, sir. Hi, I'm Mark Miller. I'm the treasurer of Coast. I really want to comment on the spending problem that the city has. They really need a 12-step program because the streetcar is one boondoggle they're working on, and it's interesting that how the money works. They need there's $14 million short on the streetcar, so they asked Chief Stryker to give them back $16 million by laying off cops. The city of Cincinnati is clearly trading safety for a trolley, which is nothing new, because they also needed to save a few million dollars on fire protection. Firefighters are the other big component of the city budget. So they shut down certain neighborhood fire stations, the process they call rolling brownouts. Russian roulette would be a more appropriate description. Why do they need to do this? Because they need to find $3.5 million to upgrade little recycling bins to big recycling bins. Now, the old ones work just fine, but again, the city of Cincinnati is sacrificing public safety for a perk. Last Friday, this boneheaded decision nearly cost a 3-year-old girl and her grandfather their lives. Zoe Quinn remains hospitalized in critical condition from a fire in Northside. Grandpa's breathing on his own now, hospitalized in serious condition. Fire officials say help was delayed because trucks had to travel twice as far to cover for the nearby browned out station. Now, nobody dies by using little recycling bins instead of big ones. Nobody dies if the trolley is delayed until the economy improves. But somebody is eventually going to die if city leaders keep cutting services to fund more boondoggles. When that happens, the guilty will be held to account. Orts and Birding, we're gunning for you. Cecil Thomas and Wendell Young, their blood will be on your hands. Roxanne Qualls and Mayor Mallory, you're going to have to figure out how to explain yourselves to the families of the fallen. Tuesday's election, Friday's fire, and the city's continued budget woes in the mayor's absence, all shouting the same message. Stop the spending. We need basic services, not boondoggles. We're all available for questions. Thank you.
What do you propose to increase the city's tax revenues, as opposed to just opposing spending? Now, the streetcar is a proven tool to increase the city's tax base all across the country. What do you propose is a better tool to increase the city's tax revenue?
Well, why do we need to increase the city's tax revenue? The city's gotten along with the same kind of tax revenue for, what, the last 200 years? When tax revenue grows, when incomes grow, everything works out just fine. Where we get into trouble is when the city overspends in relation to its income. The revenue is the revenue. We have a 2.1% earnings tax unless the people vote to raise it. That's the budget. When cities start spending money they do not have and money they will not have, that's when we get into this situation.
Most of the money, the $114 million that's been secured, a large majority of that is money the city's bond. Do you support issuing bonds to prevent layoffs?
If it's to cover a short-term shortfall, I mean the whole notion of debt, it's just like in the household. If you need to borrow a little money to get through to the next payday, or if you need to borrow money for a long-term expense like a house or a car, then debt can be a very responsible way to manage your finances. But you know, when you're going into deep debt to buy a motorcycle at the same time when you can't afford diapers and baby formula, that's very irresponsible debt. And here at the city right now, we find ourselves poised to lay off cops and firefighters at the same time we're buying bigger recycle bins and a trolley. It's irresponsible, plain and simple.
Aren't the funds that go for the trolley, aren't those capital funds that can't be used for police or firefighters?
True. Take that?
I really do.
Okay.
I've been in city government, federal government, and I've heard these lines, and they're really lies. That money is available, and it's available for capital, or they're switching it around all the time. Go to a council meeting and try to figure it out. If you go, it's like a tobacco auction. Mallory's council meeting is numbers. They don't tell you anything. And then anything you want to spend it on, they say that's illegal. It's legal. Don't worry about it.
That's a lie.
Take care of it.
That's a lie. Flat out.
Anybody else?
Yeah.